Hi everyone, Christopher here, and welcome back to another episode of Fossil Forward Finds. We have another What Sold video for you. This is from October 19th through October 25th. And as you can see, we had a pretty good week this week. 38 orders for a total of $497.33 gross, so before shipping and fees. As always, postcards lead the day with some pretty good orders in there this week, which helped drive that cost up. I'm not showing these specifically, but these were fun to sell. SKU 11 or SKU 700 rather. So these been up for a few years. But three of those sold, same buyer. And yeah, I think that's all I want to point out here. So let's get into the video. All right, starting off with some non-postcard items. The first thing I want to show you is this Pocket Engineer's book, Vest Pocket Book. Inside, it's just got all different formulas and information, I guess you would use if you were an engineer. Chemical solubility chart. Thank you, Car. I picked this up at a local estate sale. It was one I didn't even see advertised. I was just heading to run errands. It was on the way, so I decided to stop. I spent $5 at the estate sale, primarily on items for personal use. But I found this while I was there, so I picked it up because I like picking up any of these vintage items that are engineer related, the old slide tools, the rulers, things like that. And I have fairly good luck with those. So this sold on one bid for the full asking of $19.99. So happy there. Pays for all the items I kept for myself, and then a little bit of profit on top. Whew. All right, this item's been sitting around a while. It sat around a while after I listed it, and it sat around a while before that. I listed it November 18th of 2023, so it took about 2 years. It's just a little catalog for Hummel figurines, circa 82. I got this at a yard sale. It was in my parents' neighborhood. Fellow reseller, I ended up learning, and he had a whole big old bin. I think it was actually like a kitty litter box, but a bin of ephemera, a lot of political press photos, photos that politicians would mail you if you donated to the campaign. So there was Obama, President Bush, and a few others, local New York politicians, some tintypes, things like that, which is really my draw. And it's taken a while to get my money back, but I'm slowly getting there. This was one of the items that was in that lot. So it did sell for the full asking of $14.99, and I believe this one went overseas. Yeah, happy to move this one along. You can see there was definitely some condition issues here. But yeah, probably going to a Hummel collector, I can only imagine. All right, we have a POG this week, so of course we have to share. This is not from the big haul. This is just from some other lot I picked up at some point. Listed this in October of last year, so it took a little over a year to sell. Did sell for the full asking of $5.99, and it features Kingpin from the Marvel Comics. Now, this particular POG is part of a Spider-Man series, though nowadays a lot of people are probably familiar with Kingpin from the Daredevil series. But in any case, happy to see that one move along. All right, here's I think there's a 8x10, 8.5x11, 8x10 photo from Massachusetts State Police, and or let's see, this Department of Public Safety in this case. But in any case, I got this from All Things Cool and Common, Chris over on Whatnot. And this one sold for $16 on offer. Had it listed since September of last year. And shows Nationwide Grocers and U.S. Post Office in Ashfield, Massachusetts. So nowadays, for photos like this, I do images that have zoom in on the signs and such as well. But there you go. Snowy scene. All right, into the postcards. We had some good postcard sales this week. This one came from album number 14, if you're following the album series. I had it listed for $40. I started on auction, didn't sell on auction, but it did sell on offer for $35, which I'm quite pleased with. So it shows some sort of general grocery store. Let's see if we can. Anyways, so you can see we got fruit here. We got bananas hanging up, or at least it looks like racks of bananas. Various young folk here. Have what looked to be a series of butchers here as well. And yeah, so I didn't have a location on this store. We also had a sign here, Green Seal Paints advertising. So yeah, happy to make that sale. This is one of those items I wasn't sure exactly how to price it, so I priced it higher than I normally do, and can't say I'm upset about it. Keeping on the real photo postcard theme, this is one of two postcards I picked up at Dater College in September with Flipping Rue. And what's special about this and the next one I'll show you is actually the stamp on the back here. It says Arax Photo Studios, and then it lists a variety of locations as to where they have studios, including in Albany, New York, where I imagine this one is taken, though I can't know that for sure. But considering I got this in the capital region, it does make sense. But in any case, I have a buyer who's bought from me before, who I forget exactly what they're doing, but I believe they're either working on a thesis or dissertation related to the Arax Photo Studios, and I think they're specifically looking at the Albany branch, but I don't remember that for sure. So, moral of the story, or point of the story, I suppose, is when you have the name of the studios, be sure to include that somewhere. I don't have it in the title, but I do have it in the item specifics, as I believe the brand. So that does still come up in search and save searches, which I imagine this person has because they came and purchased them relatively quickly. So they purchased these two young gentlemen for $12, and then they purchased these young gentlemen as well for $12. I paid roughly 50 cents each. And again, you got that stamp on the back of this one as well. Now, there was a third photo that had a very similar feel and look to it. Didn't have a stamp on the back. The buyer was interested, was wondering if I knew for sure whether it was Arax or not. I did not. But in the time they were deliberating, someone came and paid full price for that one, and that one was heading overseas. So awesome. All right. Again, I guess another real photo. I didn't realize I was choosing so many real photos this week. But this one came out of one of the Albany albums as well. This came out of the big Floral album, album 15. And this is actually a real photo, hand-colored postcard of a willow branch. So, sold for $9.99 on auction, one bid. A little information on the back there. Again, you got the studio. So, I wasn't sure. I'm not seen too many real photos like this, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But happy for the 10. All right. So this was another sale that items have been sitting around a while. SKU $3,599, and they're advertising for Sega Dreamcast. Let's see, Fantasy Star Online. I've not heard of any of this. I am not familiar with this, but I had two of them. I listed them. What did I list them at? $14.99 each. They did get a slight discount for buying multiple at once, I believe. But in any case, they paid $35.98. It was going overseas to the UK. And after shipping and fees, I made $23.84 on these. So it was definitely worth the wait because, as you can see, the boxes, I can never do this, boxes behind me, those hold the postcards. You can fit a lot of postcards in a small space. So happy on that return. I probably paid 20 or 30 cents per card on that. All right, we're getting there. Was Halloween recently, last week. So not too surprising that I sold a little bit of Halloween. Now this is a bit more of a modern card. I think it's put out by the USPS. Yeah, U.S. Postal Service. I believe they had stamps that went along with this like that. But anyways, we have Lon Chaney as the Phantom of the Opera. Far cry from Phantom of the Opera I'm more familiar with. But anyways, this one, I listed it in January of 2024, and it did sell for the full asking of $9.99. I do have other postcards from this series. I think this may have been the last one I had of the Phantom of the Opera, but in any case, happy with that sale. And then last but not least, these items all came from album 15 as well, the big Floral album that I was concerned might take a while to make my money back. So the buyer came through and bought 5 cards here on Saturday. All different floral scenes by the same maker, same artist, the Thor Gyger. And then on Sunday came through and bought 10 more. So I did get to ship them all together, which was great. This particular order, this 5, after shipping and fees, I made $17.32. All in all, I made about $50 off the 16 cards that the person, or 15 or 16 cards the person did buy, which paid for the entirety of that album with the other 195 cards to go. So very pleased with that. I am very much appreciating the work I've been putting into, specifically looking for the makers of these floral cards, artists, and putting that information where people can find it. So collectors like this, who are collecting a specific artist or maker, can find them easily. So that was a long ramble. I gave you more than 10 this week because it was a good week. So I hope your weeks have been good. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the sales this week. How are your sales doing? I hope you had a great Halloween, and we will catch you on the next video.